You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
Happy Friday, everyone. And not just any Friday, it is officially Founder Friday here on Vocal Technologist.
Right.
I hope you've had your coffee because we're looking at the absolute state of the union for building companies in 2026.
And it feels like everything has changed.
Oh, completely. Let me tell you, if you are operating with a playbook from even 2 years ago, you might as well be bringing a knife to a drone fight.
It really does feel that drastic. The physics of business, how we hire, how we price, how we actually get work done, it's all shifting under our feet.
It is. And to kick things off, I want to start with a contradiction that has been, well, driving me absolutely crazy all week.
Okay.
We keep hearing we are in the golden age of AI, right? It's everywhere. It's writing our emails, generating our code, supposedly solving world hunger.
Supposedly.
Yet, I'm looking at this new report that says, what was it? 53% of go-to-market leaders are seeing zero impact from it. Literally zero.
It is a striking number.
It's wild. How can we have the most powerful technology in human history sitting on our desks, and half the sales leaders are basically just shrugging?
Well, this is the perfect place to start.
Okay.
Because that 53% stat, it isn't telling us the technology is bad.
Right.
It's telling us that the implementation is completely broken. We are moving out of what I call the magic button phase and into the workflow phase.
Okay, magic button versus workflow. Break that down because, I'll admit, I'm so guilty of this.
Oh, yeah.
I've probably signed up for 5 new AI tools this week, and I haven't opened 3 of them.
And you are not alone. That behavior is actually part of a much bigger problem, the productivity paradox.
Yeah.
We have some fascinating data from HubStaff, who analyzed about 140,000 people to see how work is actually getting done right now.
Oh, I saw this data. The numbers on deep work are genuinely depressing.
They're concerning. The data shows that deep work, the time you spend actually creating value, head down focus, has collapsed.
To what?
To about 39% of the day. We are talking maybe 2 or 3 hours of real focus.
2 hours. That's it. I feel like I'm at my desk for 10 hours. Where's the rest of the day going?
Meetings and tool sprawl.
Of course.
Over the last 3 years, meetings have doubled per person. But if you look at it from the organization's perspective, meeting volume is up 6 times.
That feels like a personal attack on my calendar. But it makes sense. We have all these tools to save time, and we spend all our time just talking about the tools.
Precisely. The average person is now juggling about 18 different apps a day.
18.
That is a massive amount of context switching. So when you go back to that 53% of sales leaders seeing no results, it's because they're just adding another tool to the pile.
Right. They're adding the 19th app and hoping it magically fixes the chaos from the other 18.
Exactly. But the companies that are succeeding, the ones in that other 47%, they aren't just buying tools. They are building specific workflows.
So it's not the tool, it's the integration.
Yes. They're taking models like ChatGPT or Claude, combining them with off-the-shelf stuff, and architecting a process for, say, prospecting or for content creation.
So the era of just pay $20 a month and your problems disappear is dead.
Completely. If you aren't redesigning how the work flows, the AI is just more clutter.
Okay, so if the tools aren't the instant fix we were promised, and we are all drowning in meetings, what is the fix?
Wow.
Because I feel like the answer can't just be have more meetings to discuss the workflows.
Surprisingly, the answer might be old-fashioned management, but with a massive twist.
Management.
There's an argument gaining a lot of traction right now that management is the new AI superpower.
Management. That sounds incredibly unsexy. Learn to code was cool. Learn to middle manage. Doesn't have the same ring to it.
It sounds dry, but listen to this. There was an experimental class at the University of Pennsylvania that perfectly illustrates this.
Okay.
Students were tasked with building software prototypes really fast using tools like Claude Code.
So coding class.
That's the thing. It wasn't really a coding class. Historically, the students with the best computer science background would win, right?
Sure, makes sense.
But this time, the students who succeeded weren't the best coders. They were the ones with the best delegation skills.
Interesting. So it's about how you boss the AI around.
Essentially, yes. Success came down to balancing task complexity, evaluating the AI's output, checking the work. It's exactly what a good manager does with a junior employee.
Wow.
You don't do the work, you define the scope, you assign it, and you quality check it.
That is such a mindset shift. We spent 10 years telling everyone, learn the syntax, learn Python, and now it turns out we should have been saying, Learn project management.
In a way, yeah. And we're seeing this bleed into actual job titles, too. Have you noticed the rise of the forward-deployed engineer?
Yes, I love this trend. It's basically rebranding, but it is brilliant. Palantir started this, right?
They did. They took what was, let's be honest, a solutions engineer role, which often gets looked down on in the Valley as client services, and they rebranded it.
They call them deltas.
Like Delta Force,
Shock.
exactly.
It's genius. You take the unglamorous work of going to a client site, scrubbing their messy data, fixing integrations, and you turn it into this elite special ops mission.
And it worked. It attracted these high agency, high EQ engineers. But here's why it matters for 2026. Companies like Harvey are doing the same thing now with legal engineers.
Right, Harvey, the AI legal platform.
Yeah,
So they need people who get the law and the code.
precisely. And this connects back to our management point. There is this belief that AI would just replace these service roles.
That the software would get so good you wouldn't need humans in the loop.
But the reality is, when a product involves high-stakes, judgment-like law or enterprise strategy, you need that human expert in the loop forever.
So the Delta or the legal engineer isn't a temporary Band-Aid until the AI gets better.
Oh, totally. It's likely a permanent feature. Contrast that with the title prompt engineer. Remember how huge that was 2 years ago?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Everyone was putting it in their bio. Now it feels
Yeah.
kind of dated.
It feels dated because it turned out prompting wasn't a job, it was a task. It was just typing. But a forward-deployed engineer is solving a complex human-machine problem. That's a career.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, speaking of solving problems, let's talk product strategy, because there's a spicy take floating around from Grant Lee.
Oh, I know this one.
He says product market fit, the holy grail for startups, is actually a lagging indicator.
It is controversial, but if you look at the logic, it holds up. He argues founders focus too much on the end state, do people want this, and not enough on the mechanism.
Which is?
How do we form a habit?
So focus on habit formation first.
Right. Look at Slack or Gamma. They didn't just solve a problem, they targeted frequent, low-friction interactions. They built a loop that you enter multiple times a day.
That is a really good point. I use Slack every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I use my tax software once a year. I definitely have a habit with one and not the other.
Exactly. And this shift from solving a problem to owning a workflow is also happening in the creative sector. We saw Flora just raise, what, $42 million?
Yeah, Flora. And their founder, Weber Wong, had some sharp words for Silicon Valley.
He did. He basically said tech people don't understand creatives, that the current AI image generators are just slot machines. You pull a lever, you type a prompt, and you get a random image.
And real artists hate that. They don't want a slot machine. They want a paintbrush.
They want control. Flora is building node-based workflows.
Yeah.
It lets creatives control the process, not just gamble on the output. It's about taste and control.
I love that phrase, taste and control. But man, the speed at which these companies are moving is just scary.
It is. There used to be this rule in enterprise sales, the IBM rule. It took 20 years to become the industry default.
Right, the safe bet where nobody gets fired for buying you.
In the AI era, that timeline has compressed from 20 years to less than 2. Look at Harvey again. They signed A&O Sherman, a massive law firm, when the startup was just 4 people.
4 people. Signing a global law firm, that sounds impossible.
And yet, that one deal made them the default. The lesson for founders is crucial. You don't build credibility, then land the whale. You land the whale to get the credibility. They aren't separate phases anymore.
That is terrifying and exciting at the same time. You're flying the plane while you're building it, but you also have to land it at JFK immediately.
That is a very accurate analogy.
Okay, so the speed is different, the people are different. What about the tech itself? We're hearing that 2026 is the year of multimodal.
This is the big shift. For the last few years, we've been obsessed with text, LLMs, chatbots, but text was really just a middle state. It was the easiest thing for computers to process.
But humans don't live in text files. We live in the real world.
Exactly. We live in a visual and auditory world. Now that inference costs are dropping and the models are faster, AI can finally see and hear via cameras and sensors.
So it's like when we went from desktop computers to iPhones.
That is the perfect comparison. Once the iPhone came out, desktop software felt so constrained, stuck in a box. Text-only AI is going to feel like that very, very soon.
And this all moves us into what some are calling the post-abundance world of software, which sounds ominous.
It does, but it's really just economic reality kicking in. AI makes producing software incredibly cheap and fast.
Which means we need fewer people to build it.
Right, smaller teams. But it also leads to disposable software. If code is cheap, you don't need to maintain it forever. You build it, you use it, and if the problem changes, you just throw it away and generate new code.
That completely changes the business model. We used to value the code itself.
Now, the value is shifting from code creation to decision making. The code is a commodity. Knowing what code to build is the real asset.
And this is playing out in the earnings, right? Microsoft's Q2 numbers just dropped.
Yes, $81.3 billion in revenue. Azure grew 39%. But here's the kicker. Their stock actually dipped a bit because of capacity constraints.
They literally cannot build data centers fast enough to take our money.
There's a narrative floating around that Microsoft could eventually see $281 billion in revenue from a single customer context. But the bottleneck isn't demand, it's physics.
That is a good problem to have, I guess. But let's pivot to the people who don't have $81 billion in revenue yet. Let's talk fundraising.
Uh-huh. The game has changed there, too.
Drastically. There was a report from Madrona that distinguishes between fundability and investability.
Yes.
Wait, aren't those the same thing? If someone gives you funds, you're funded.
You would think so, but no. Fundability is just fitting the current VC pattern, checking the boxes for what's hot right now.
Agentic workflows in your slide deck, check.
Exactly. You're fundable.
Yeah.
But investability is about whether you can actually generate a return.
So you can be fundable but not investable. You can raise the money but never make a profit.
And the trap is confusing the two. The report highlights that investors have stopped looking at those rapid spikes in user growth, the hockey stick charts.
Because anyone can buy users. It's cheap calories.
Right. It's not durable. Now they're looking for customer dependence. Can you prove that your customers literally rely on you to function? That's a defensible trajectory.
So don't show me a chart that goes up and to the right. Show me a customer who will cry if I turn your server off.
Basically, yes. And this connects to the dangers of what's being called hubristic fundraising.
Hubristic fundraising. I like that term. It sounds like a Greek tragedy.
It usually ends like one. It's when companies raise so much money at such a high valuation that they have to hit a home run. There's no option for a double.
This is the Brex example, right?
Grex is often cited here. When you raise that aggressively, you attract mercenaries, not missionaries. People come for the payout, not the mission.
And if you stumble even a little bit, everyone panics.
Every minor setback looks like a catastrophe. We're seeing a return of this 2021 style fundraising in AI, and it is risky.
And on the flip side of raising money is making money. Pricing models are a total mess.
They are. Everyone thought usage-based pricing was the future. Pay for what you use. Sounds fair.
But CFOs hate it.
They hate it. Nobody wants a bill that fluctuates wildly every month. So we're seeing a shift back to credits pre-purchasing tokens.
Like buying tokens at an arcade. You buy $100 worth, and when they're gone, they're gone.
It is, but the customers are demanding billing observability. They don't want AI usage to feel like a casino where they pull in the handle and don't know if it costs them a nickel or $100.
Don't make my SaaS bill feel like a casino. Seems like a reasonable request.
You would think so, but in an agentic era where the AI runs on its own looping, thinking it's a hard problem to solve, if your agent thinks for 3 hours and fails, do you still pay for the compute?
That is the billion-dollar question. Okay, let's take a breath and recap, because this was a lot.
It was.
We're in a world where teams are getting smaller because software is becoming disposable, meetings are eating our lives, 2 hours of deep work, people. But the potential to build a massive outcome has never been faster.
It's a polarized environment. The barriers to entry are lower, but the barriers to success are higher.
So as we wrap up this Founder Friday, what's the one thought you want our listeners to walk away with?
I want to leave you with the concept of lighthouse hiring. It's a strategy Stripe used famously.
Explain that.
In this world, who you hire sends a signal. If you hire one well-connected, high-quality person, your lighthouse, the rest of the talent follows them. They guide the ships into the harbor.
So you can't just post a job ad anymore.
You need a lighthouse. So
Yeah.
the question for every founder listening is, who is your lighthouse?
I love that. Find your lighthouse and maybe, just maybe, don't buy that 20th AI tool until you figured out your workflow.
Please,
Yeah.
for the sake of your sanity.
On that note, I am going to go cancel about 19 SaaS subscriptions I haven't looked at since January 1st. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for listening.
We'll catch you next time.
Spoken Tech for your ears.